nutrition and health in college. This semester has really been so busy, and I realized that I was eating out for almost every meal. I was not planning ahead, and this really had an impact on my health and my sleep. And I ended up feeling sick all the time and having very low energy. And I realized that I was, like I said, never cooking and never felt like I was eating foods that made me feel good. And so I decided to try to cook one meal a week, which does not sound like a lot, but for me, it has been. And then trying to get to the point where I'm cooking more than one meal a day. So wanted to learn about both vegetarianism and veganism, as there's a lot of misconceptions about them and really just kind of a stigma around them. I personally do not think I will switch to fully being a vegetarian or a vegan, but I wanted to learn more about it because my roommate decided to switch to veganism, and I've learned a lot about um, that from her. And I wanted to learn about ways to do this whenever we're so busy and we don't have a lot of time. So this is what I've learned about being a vegetarian, excuse me. The first thing I was shocked to learn is there are many different types of vegetarianism. There's lacto-ovo vegetarianism, which is the most common type, and this is a combination of two types. So there's lacto vegetarians who do not eat red or white meat and fish, but they do incorporate dairy products, including milk, cheese, yogurt, but not eggs. So ovo vegetarians, in contrast, do include eggs into their diets. And then vegetarianism is a less strict approach. So this is something I think would be beneficial from what I've read is to maybe limit animal products or maybe take a day where you eat completely plant-based, which is what I have decided to incorporate in my schedule. But I learned that it can also be pescatarians that just eat seafood and not poultry or red meat, and poultarians, which do not eat meat, pork, or fish, or shellfish, but eat poultry. And the Mayo Clinic suggests that to plan a healthy vegetarian diet, you must include 2.5 cups of vegetables, 3 cups of fruit, 6.5 ounces of mostly whole grains, 3 cups of dairy, 3.5 ounces of protein foods, and 27 grams of oil to sustain a healthy 2,000 calorie diet. And the main thing I was learned when I was researching was to really consult with your doctor before you make any big switches. But just this is just what I learned about to incorporate some more healthy meals into my diet. So this is just some background information. And then according to the Mayo Clinic, again, like I said, transition to vegetarian diet should be gradual, reduce meat in your diet while increasing fruits and vegetables. And these are some strategies. Each week, ramp up the number of meatless meals and find ways to include greens such as spinach, kale, and other greens. Um, Substitute and branch out. Take your favorite recipes and try them without meat, which is what I did later in the presentation. And then, such as, well, not this particular one, but I made a recipe without and substituted. But you can, for example, use beans instead of ground beef for chili. And thirdly, check the internet for new recipes and ways to include vegetarian meals into your diet. So I found that there was a lot of great blogs out there. There's a lot of great ideas on Pinterest and social media, but also make sure that these are not obviously drastic and you are doing so in a healthy way, just to include some more nutritious food into your diet. So, yeah, so some pros and cons is the nutritional benefits, obviously, is what I'm researching it for. And it's according to a peer reviewed 1999 study of 76,000 people. Vegetarians had a 27% lower mortality from heart disease, include getting more soluble fiber, lowering cholesterol, and stabilizing blood sugar levels to prevent peaks and crashes. Many nutritionists agree when planned correctly, vegetarian can be beneficial to one's overall health. And that's a big part of this is planning correctly. And so the cons would be the main issue with becoming a vegetarian that I discovered was how much time and planning it is to put into your meals and to be cautious to prevent nutrient deficiency. So this is something I talked a lot with my roommate. She plans ahead like throughout the week so that she is taking any supplements that her doctor says she needs, and especially B12, which is a really important vitamin, and it can usually be found in meat. But this nutrient serves important functions for maintaining healthy brain and nervous system. And she actually takes a supplement. But there's actually I learned a lot of foods that contain B12 that are not found in meat. So we're going to talk about those. So some recipes I found. I actually made this one. I didn't take photos of it, but this was one of the meals I made when I was just cooking one meal a week. Obviously, I was cooking more, but just for the one vegetarian meal a week. And it was super easy and fast, and it was great. This is a great blog that I found. It says College Nutritionist, and they have really quick and easy nutritious ideas. And then, so vegan, this is a type of vegetarianism that includes living a diet completely plant based. And vegans, I found this source from a someone who knows a lot more about this than I do. She is a she has a doctorate in nutrition. I believe she's a nutritionist or just she's a doctor. But vegans don't consume animal products of any kind, including byproducts like honey, gelatin, and beeswax. They avoid red meat, pork, seafood, and poultry. Eggs and dairy are also not included in their diet. So it is difficult to get nutrients only found in meat when, sorry about that. When also found, sorry about that. I was having some technical issues. To continue, incorporating soy and tofu will provide necessary proteins, while leafy greens like kale, spinach, Swiss chard, and plenty of iron. Be careful not to overdo it with the carbohydrates, she says, and eat a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. So, a big thing with veganism that I found when I was researching was some people just do it for the health benefits, and some people do it for the environmental and the animal aspect. I included a video later in the presentation that you could watch separately, not in the recording, because it is a little bit longer, but it is a TED Talk, and he talks more in depth about um, the more of those types of reasons. But I just wanted to research it for my own knowledge and ways to include these types of these types of meals in my um, weekly diet to um, have a more healthy lifestyle. So that's why I didn't really talk about it. So this was my first try cooking a vegan meal. I made this with my roommate. So we found this recipe from a blog, and I had to tweak it a little, like you see here. But first, we wanted to make soup because that is something really easy to make. You can save it. It can be a meal prep thing where you make it makes a decent amount, and then you can eat it throughout the week, or you can pack it for internship and that kind of thing. So I decided to make some soup, and I found this recipe. So, like I said, I tweaked it by adding veggie stock. And tweaked the vegetables a little bit about what I had on hand. I did have to go out and buy some vegan butter, which is actually really good. So we opted not to make the cream sauce. You could make that with the vegan butter and flour, but we just decided not to. And obviously, you can make it with almond milk or oat milk instead of the regular milk. But that is what we tweaked it, and so it was really easy. I made it in an Instapot, but you could easily make this on the stove. Those are the steps there. I don't think I need to read all of them, but you can see we chopped our vegetables, we cleaned them, we just sauteed them really easy and fast, and then seasoned. These are the seasonings we used. And then you just basically simmer it, add the rice, make sure the rice is cooked, and then it's ready to serve, and you can eat it throughout the week. I think soups are a good thing, for me at least, when I was finding that I had to cook or meal prep and plan ahead. These were easy. So some misconceptions and myths. I really wanted to find a good source with where a nutritionist or a dietitian was interviewed about this, because I always thought I've always worried that if my roommate wasn't getting enough protein, or people that this diet may not get enough protein. This is what she had to say about it. So one of the most common misconceptions is that to meet your protein intake, you must include meat in your diet. And she says this isn't the case. There's a variety of high protein plant foods, including nuts, seeds, grains, lentils, and of course tofu, which can provide plenty of protein. And so quinoa, she gives as an example, and also some supplements. Plant protein powders are available, um, and they're easy to add to cooking and baking. And also, smoothies are great. I started attempting to make smoothies. That was fun. I make those at home, but it's good to make those at college because they're easy and quick. Okay, so another myth is iron deficiency. I believe that vegan diets result in iron deficiency is a very common misconception. Most people make the link that iron is only found in meats, particularly red meat. This, however, is not the case. Iron-rich food sources include dark leafy greens such as spinach, kale, beetroot leaves, and Swiss chard, a cousin of beetroot leaves, she says. In fact, iron absorption is actually increased when consuming vitamin C rich foods, which I had no idea about, and that was linked. And those include obviously oranges, grapefruits, and strawberries, she says. And so then this is the video. Let's see how this goes. It's a really short video. I think we're going to watch it.
I've lost 13 pounds so far, and I'm only on week 5.
Sorry for the ad.
Technically, if you eat fries and ketchup every day and potato chips and Coca-Cola, you could still be a vegan. Hi, my name is Deanna Bedoya, and I am a senior lecturer at Simon Fraser University. I have a master's degree in biomedical physiology and kinesiology, and today I'm here to answer your question about veganism.
What is veganism?
So veganism is a style of eating where an individual avoids all animal products. So that means even things like butter or eggs or dairy, no animal products or animal byproducts of any kind.
Is veganism good for my health?
Veganism can be good for your health, but it depends what you mean by veganism. So you can be a vegan by eating fries and ketchup and chips and pop all day, but does that mean it's actually healthy? So veganism in general can be very healthy if it's based on whole foods and a variety of foods, and you are not dealing with any kind of nutrient deficiencies.
Will veganism help me lose weight?
Unless there is a deficit in calories. How consuming switch to veganism or even vegetarianism can result in a loss in pounds.
Can veganism cure cancer?
No, is the simplest answer to that question. What a vegan diet might be able to do is reduce your risk of developing cancer. There has been studies that have shown that individuals that are vegan have a reduced risk of cancer rate. But once cancer is established, simply switching to a vegan diet can absolutely not guarantee that that cancer will go away. It's not that simple.
Can veganism cause depression?
There does seem to be a slight association between individuals that become vegan and an increased risk of depressive symptoms. We don't actually know why that is. One of the theories as to perhaps why people who are vegan might have a higher risk of certain mental health issues is perhaps maybe they have this bigger moral worry about the world, which is and animals and those kind of things that are negative for the world, and that's what led them to veganism in the first place. But none of that is causal, none of that is well established. We're still trying to figure out why there is a relationship there.
Is veganism good for the environment?
It seems that it probably is good for the environment. One of the biggest reasons for that is because reliance on plant products as opposed to animal products produces a decrease in the net amount of carbon emissions. We also just use less water when we are raising plants as opposed to raising animals. So if we are trying to feed the world into the future, a shift towards vegetarianism and veganism is one of the options that's going to help us be a bit more sustainable.
Is veganism dangerous, or are there any risks to the diet?
The main thing I would say to someone that's considering veganism is you have to really make sure that it is nutritionally complete. Vegans and vegetarians are at higher risk for certain nutritional deficiencies. In particular, vegans might be deficient in iron, in calcium, in vitamin D, in zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin B12, a vitamin that's really important for our red blood cells and that you can only get from animal products. So there are lots of great reasons to go vegan, but do it because you want to do it, because perhaps you are worried about the health of the planet, or because you don't like the taste of animals, or for religious or cultural reasons. But don't do it just because everyone else is doing it, or don't do it just to lose weight. And something else we need to consider whenever we're changing our diet is that it takes time for things to change and for your body to get used to something and for your mind to get used to it as well. So be clear about why you want to do it, and be kind to yourself through the process as well.
Okay, so I just really wanted to include that video. Let me get back to the presentation. Because I thought that it was really interesting that she answered a lot of these questions. And I just wanted to learn more about ways to become healthy. And that's why I skipped the weight loss part. We just wanted to learn about what she had to say about answering some questions about how to improve your health. So I thought that was interesting. And here's the TED Talk video. It's pretty long, so I included the link, but I'm not going to watch it during the recording, but you can watch it in the presentation. And then, so some of the things I learned, one of the main tips I learned while researching this topic was to include one meal a week with no meat or that is plant-based. This is just something I learned that I felt comfortable doing through what I learned from researching this. And then planning ahead by grocery shopping and learning a few easy recipes to potentially cook at least one meal a day. So this is something I also end up taking away from learning about ways to improve your health. Meal prepping is a great tool for being busy and not wanting to cook every day. Like I said, like the soup that we made, we ended up, it was a great to meal prep with. And then swapping out processed snacks for healthy snacks when studying throughout the day, and taking time to drink the suggested amount of water a day. This very much varies. I know some people do a gallon of water a day, which is a lot, which I have also tried to do, but could not do it. But just drinking more water, obviously that just improves health overall. And while there are pros and cons to both veganism and vegetarianism, the main concern is to be conscious about getting the suggested amount of nutrition, sorry about that, a day and fueling your body with healthy fats, proteins, and vitamins. This is just what I learned to improve health, and here are my sources. Thank y'all for listening.